match. They are looking to defend the world title, and this could potentially be Canadians' last ever game of competitive Rainbow Six Siege. Just such a huge story heading into this one. The band phase kicks off. SSG on the defense. They'll take the Thatcher off the board first. Expected here on Oregon. As Jess alluded to, maybe Team 1 will take the Ying off, though. In response, we saw Faults play it over on Chalet, and they will. So well done, Jess. You can tick that box off, and Candelas will no longer play a part in this best of 3.
Yeah, and if we're going to continue hyping on Jess here, pointing out the Oregon difference between these two teams, I had written down over the last few months, SSG 1-6 on Oregon, 15 times they banned it. For Team 1, 5-6, but only 4 bans. That is a stark difference between the two teams coming into this map. For what is meant to be a deciding map, it yet feels like Team 1's map all the way. Valk taken off the board, so is Wamai from SSG for the projectile denial. And that's it. Bans are done. We get into this map, but as I said before, guys, it's do or die time for both of these two teams. The team that does await them will be Team Empire.
Ooh, jeez, that's going to be a spicy game. But of course, all focus currently still on this one. Space Station starting out on the defense. They'll probably feel quite comfortable there, considering that their attack win rate has not been amazing at the Six Invitational. So they'll be looking to establish as many rounds as possible. And that all begins down below in basement. Canadian sticking that mirror from Chalet, and mirror can definitely be a nuisance on this objective and on this map as a whole. You can place one facing into freezer or into laundry, another in E-box facing over towards the blue bunker, for example, and those positions can be quite tricky to deal with. We're also going to see the Goyo 6 picked by Faults, and that means that there will be 3 deployable shields that the defense will have as cover, and that Team 1 will need to clear.
And I've got to say here for SSG, what the desk alluded to and what I've already touched on, feels like the map is going against them. I'm kind of glad they're starting on the defense first, at least here at Six Invitational. It has been defend-decided, of course, on Oregon. Not too much of a surprise, at least that should be for many. So the fact that they get to defend first means it's going to set the expectations by the end of the first half pretty easily. I mean, if this is like a 3-3 half, or if it's a 4-2 Team 1 half, then it's going to start to look really dire for SSG going into the second half. But if they can get a 4-2 and get off to a really good start, suddenly things will look up, and then they will have an opportunity in the second half. So that's sort of the way I expect this to play out. SSG are going to need to start well here on their defense for Oregon.
Now, if you are just tuning in, maybe just catching the third match, I know that for North America and for the Latin American fans, this is very, very early in the morning, so can't blame you for that. But some of the standout players to watch so far, probably Alamau for Team 1. A huge impact over on Chalet, finding a lot of kills, and was very prominent on the Twitch, not being brought at least in this round. And then for Space Station Gaming, a few of their players stepping up as well, but the spotlight really needs to be on Canadian in this matchup. Such a long-time veteran of the scene, a multiple Six Invitational winner, and he is looking to go out with a bang. He will not want to lose this match here. He wants to go as deep in that bracket as possible.
Well, speaking of bang, Bosco has been banging up a storm. 21-9 over the course of this best of 3 so far. Of course, that's now 2 maps that have been played. Canadian 14-13, so that's +1. Thinking Nate also 14-13, that's +1. So for the SSG, their numbers are looking pretty good. But for Team 1, they're looking amazing, at least for some of their players. Levy with a 20-14, so that's +6. And Alamau, who started very slow, if we actually recall all the way back to Clubhouse, was not really that impactful. So just the Chalet performance alone has now got Alamau into a +3 position. In terms of entries, it's been pretty close, back and forth, hard to really split it, especially coming over to here on Oregon. You kind of discount what's happened on the other maps and just see what happens. Minute 20 on the clock, thinking they will reposition those ADSs into freezer. Still 5 versus 5, not much has really happened, but Team 1 now start to establish their presence over towards this blue bunker.
Only one ADS covering this shield, so with that flashbang being sent out by Aloau, Neskin can use the Gon 6 to clear it, and now Thinking Nate is left a little bit stranded. A drone over towards Pillar will spot his position, and another on the blue tarps will confirm it. He's trying to fall back and maybe swing the player on the stairs. It's a tricky position that Thinking Nade finds himself in, and the nade will force that movement a little bit early. He's in Harry Potter now, and he's just trying to stay alive and kill as many drones as possible.
Thinking Nade, can he win this fight over towards backstairs? Team One have got angles galore right now, even meeting hatch. They can drop down. They've got the player over at backstairs, bunker. Oh no. Oh, the timing. Levy just puts back that nade, picks out the gun, and there's a second. That's KDS pushing down backstairs, clears out pillar. A two-man advantage now for Team One, but KDS on the floor. And Levy, that's too strong, bringing that fine performance that we saw from Clubhouse and Chalet now already over to Oregon. What a start, a swift
it's Canadian
from Team One. The Nitro Cell from Canadian. Oh no, it takes out Vault. Oh no. Not quite how the play was written up. What a start for Team One, swiftly taking the opening round on their attack.
Oh, Canadian. If he hits that Nitro, that may well have been a Space Station round. It was in the dying seconds. I'm sure the replay will confirm just how close that was, but outside of that play alone, Team One, a beautiful collapse on that pillar position. And there we go, 2 seconds left. Picking that kit back up would have been very difficult. I think Team One probably would have been able to and get it back down, provided they were not asleep at the wheel, but nonetheless, an unfortunate mistake there from Canadian.
Yeah, very unfortunate, but a really good attack from Team One. The way that they were able to attack this laundry site, I mean, honestly, guys, it's one of the better attacks that I've seen on Oregon for quite some time in terms of taking basement. It was just clean. They had all of the angles. They absolutely suffocated SSG. And that, honestly, to me, does not spell good news for SSG. If Team One are going to be playing like this here on Oregon, this could be almost as quick as Clubhouse was, which was a 7-1 for Space Station Gaming. And maybe the Chalet performance will come back to bite SSG, and they may end up getting knocked out here in the lower bracket round 1, because if they do lose this, they are done. Canadian will also be done, and that dream will come to an end. Team One, good start, but SSG, of course, plenty of rounds to fight back.
Yeah, we'll have to see just how strong Team One's attacks are on the other sides. If they can start steamrolling momentum, they could look scary, but upstairs, of course, a very different objective in the way it plays out. 2 below, the extension inside of kitchen for Space Station. They can establish vert in towards kids and some lines of sight, as well as the rotation in towards security, making that quite precarious for the attack. Team One, on the other hand, how will they approach the site? We have seen a little bit of a shift in the meta recently, with teams going for white stairs and double window attacks as opposed to straight heading in from the likes of Closet and Trophy, for example. But so far, Team One are setting up on this eastern side of the map. The player really to watch is probably going to be Lagonis on the ace, as to where exactly he wants to deploy those Summers.
And there's also Addict as well, which at times has now also fallen a little bit out of favor. Does still, we see an Addict push every now and then, because it can still be used in combination with, say, big window and white stairs. If you try and take control of pit, moving into kids. 2 minutes. Ooh, Alamau, though, finds an early pick. That's through big window, I'd have to imagine. Rampy is going to be eliminated. Nice angle found, and for Team One, another good start here. You've got to remember, guys, this is, regarded as a defend-decided map. At least here at Six Invitational, it has been playing out that way. So Team One bucking the trend right now. KDS ends up winning that fight too. Fultz is down. Another 2-man advantage for Team One. What is happening from SSG's side of things? Canadian, can you save them, please? They need you right now.
Canadians all the way in Big Tower. He executes a flank, I think, onto Levy, or either way, he's eventually made his way through that rotate, and he'll play down below. He may well have just walked through Attic and found that pick. Didn't quite catch it, but either way, he is probing the danger man here for Space Station with a Nitro Cell in hand. Team One don't have a dedicated flank watch operator on the board, instead relying on their drones. They have 5 available, but are they being used efficiently? Team One are being stalled out a little bit here. Bosco gets aggressive. He finds the pick, but it's a very sharp trade there from Lagonis. And Team One still have the man at.
Lagonis probably should have got another one there as well. That was close. 37 seconds on the clock, Canadian. Just pushing through lobby. Now make his way up his main stairs. Oh, he is so close to getting this kill. Lagonis gets away, half health. That Claymore was stopping him from pushing up. Alamau dies, thinking Nade's got two. The combination of Thinking Nade and Canadian coming up big here on this Kids Dorm. Sights KDS, the last one standing. Thinking Nade does not have much health though. KDS will be able to win this. It won't take much. You could almost knife him here. And he does end up getting the kill. 1 versus 1. Canadian has to stop this plant from going down. He's got time. He's got a Nitrocell if he so pleases. He throws it out. He wins the trade. Canadian clutching the round for SSG when it looked like it was falling apart.
Canadian is just an absolute machine. What a huge round, getting a pick early in the round to not allow Team 1 to steamroll it in the end. And then he is cool, calm, and collected in the clutch. Very well played there. Thinking Nade as well, inside of Kids, he had a huge impact. 2 incredibly difficult swings to win, but he does it in the end. It was a valiant effort from KDS, but Team 1 just not good enough. You just cannot defeat Canadian. He is just the clutch god.
Oh, in fairness, I think at the end there, KDS has no choice but to try and stick that diffuser. I think you can even see him going for the play. I'm not sure why he got off it. Probably the Nitrocell. He anticipated that. So it was still a good play from Canadian. Throws out that Nitrocell, but KDS actually got off of it before it. Maybe he heard the Nitrocell being ripped. I don't know, guys.
I think he panicked. I think he just panicked a little bit. Honestly, he was quite low on HP.
I would panic too if Canadian's coming after me.
Yeah, I would be too. Canadian is very, very scary. It didn't look pretty there in the end in the clutch, but again, all focus on Canadian. He was the one that had a huge impact in that round.
100%.
He is the player that can really lift the team here if he continues to show up.
1-1. It's a big round too, because you do not want to be losing the first 2 defensive rounds on Oregon. So very clutch play from Canadian, but also Thinking Nade. Don't forget about his performance too. Back over on the site in that last round, found a double kill. That was a big part of it too. So I'm going to make sure we give the plaudits to those who also deserve it, and Thinking Nade one of those. 1-1, Team 1 will attack once again here. KDS and Levy playing well again. Alamau, I'm sure we're going to see him be very proficient on Oregon as well at some point, and that's when things are going to get really tasty in this matchup. And honestly, at this point, I would be surprised if we don't go to OT. It would be fitting if it goes the distance here on Oregon.
Alamau is too good. Bolts will fall at the start of this round. Devastating aggression here from Team 1. And it doesn't matter who he's playing, Alamau can do big damage. No response from SSG, but Canadian is crouching up the armory stairs, trying to get a trade. Alamau applying more pressure over towards Big Tower, but he's the big man himself. What can Canadian do?
Nice shot from Canadian. Alamau's going to be stopped dead in his tracks nice and early in this round. Not allowed on that buck to go around doing what he did to Fultz earlier. And a big play to take down. As I mentioned, Alamau, Levy, and KDS have been the big 3 for Team 1. Any of those 3 that get taken off the board is going to be a big pick for SSG. But it's back down to sight for SSG. They're going to give up on this roam.
Lagonis on the Habana can pop the front hatch, and I think he's making his way over towards security now, and with 14 X-Kari still left in his launcher, he can pop that open as well. I assume the next objective would be the meeting hatch if it hasn't already been popped by Levy, as the team now sets up for a freezer execute, I think. Everyone running around, mad dashing for their starting positions here on this execute. It may well actually be a front push over towards Laundry. Evil Eyes and Bulletproof Cameras covering this position though, and SSG should know that it is coming from here. Eventually, Lagonis scouts ahead though for the attack, and here's the freezer pressure being applied. It's a big nade from Neskin. It's a huge nade from Neskin, and it's a 4-3 lead for Team 1.
And it allows KDS to push up, but right into the shotgun of Bosco, who then immediately pushes in towards Freezer. Lagonis defeats Canadian, 2 versus 2. Nice pick from Rampy. Lagonis now left up into a 1 versus 2, but Bosco with the shotgun. Too strong, too good inside of Freezer. Ice cold from SSG.
SSG in the late round. They're laughing, they're smiling, they're happy with how that one played out. It was a frantic setup for Team One, and in the end, they were unable to consolidate that into a round win. I thought that off the back of that thinking nade grenade that maybe Team One could get something going, but SSG, their teamwork in that round just too good, and a good comeback considering that Faults was dropped so early in that round.
Yeah, for sure. Faults, unfortunately, taken off the board. Good to see Rampy find a pick as well while all of this commotion was going on when it was a 2 versus 2. Takes off Levy, and that's a big player to get rid of. And Bosco, I mean, look at that again, just the timing of it, and you can feel the confidence start to extrude now from SSG as they find their footing here on Oregon. 2 rounds in a row, and the longer that they can keep this going, the more that Team One will start to maybe doubt themselves, and their mental fortitude will be tested.
Yeah, definitely some deep breaths going to be taken by all 10 players in this server over the course of this matchup. High pressure for a couple of different reasons. Again, just reinstating the stakes, I guess. Team One trying to make the hopeful run for Latin America. Bit of an unknown quantity heading into this tournament. Quite a fresh team. In fact, only been together for a couple of months, and they're looking to prove themselves. SSG, though, if you've been around the scene long enough, you know exactly who these guys are. The reigning world champions. They want to try and back that up, claim the hammer once again, and add on top of that the pressure of this maybe being Canadians' final game of competitive Siege if SSG falter at the final hurdle in this best of 3. But the stakes are high. Team One on this attack will be looking to even out the scoreline. Alamau again on the entry on the buck. Aggressive as always.
Yep.
It is a kitchen and meeting defense for SSG. And horizontal control is paramount here for Team One, at least for Alamau. Up above though, Neskin meanwhile on the Gemini might try and scout ahead as well for his team.
Yeah, just spotted Faults over in Kids, and he's able to then continue to push over towards Games, and then just comes back. So a nice little bit of information gathered. Nothing too crazy from that Gemini. Pressure over towards Kitchen, though. And just the way that Team One currently positioning themselves does give us a bit of a feeling that this might be a Kitchen attack rather than, say, meeting, because if it was meeting, we'd probably see a few more players over towards Big Tower and trying to get to work over there. So they're really putting in a lot of work to flush out these players in Kids' dorms.
SSG still with a stronghold above here. Neskin on the double window, and also a player on the bedroom balcony. Levy also preparing himself inside of dining. A pause in the action here. Team One again looking to establish themselves in this round. Neskin fires the first shots, but it's Faults to come out on top of that engagement. KDS, he doesn't hit the refrag. He will eventually. It's a 4v4. Rampy with the Pokeball. He gets KDS, and now Team One are on the back foot.
Oh, and Lagonis is eliminated as well by thinking nade. SSG are just tearing Team One apart at the moment on their defense.
A bomb has been located.
Levy can't even get the defuse. The thinking nade with a double for the round. Neskin the last one. He's gone too. He perishes on site. SSG will take another round. They've got 3 in a row. And that momentum, that full steam ahead momentum is building rapidly, Guz.
This is shaping up to be one hell of a matchup. Space Station are looking incredibly sharp in this third map so far. Team One flustered as they try and enter in towards the site. Bit of a messy engagement over towards top white. KDS was not the cleanest of refrags that he would have liked. A player in the peripheral over in Kids as well, that I believe was the one to throw the impact nade at the very end there. The Pokeball finding its prey. Strong performance there from SSG. They look fired up at the moment.
They certainly do, and they are playing well defensively. They're not allowing Team One to even really get much position, also denying a lot of time. They're not throwing lives away either. I mean, so far, Team One, yes, Team One have done well in their opening 3 rounds to find opening picks. They've been able to do that through Alamau, usually on that butt, pushing in, opening up something and just getting a crazy pick. But then in that last round, they made it a lot more difficult for Team 1 to get the pick. In fact, it ended up being false at around the minute mark or so. So that's kind of late in the round compared to some of those previous rounds where Alamau was just pushing in, getting an opening pick at the 2-minute mark and making it then a little hard for SSG. But SSG, to their credit, didn't even matter in those other rounds. And this time they get the advantage and they capitalize extensively. That round was over as soon as SSG got those first couple of picks.
An upstairs defense here for Space Station Gaming. They attempted this site in round number 2 and they were successful despite not getting the opening pick. It was Alamau at the 2-minute mark to find the opener in that one. And I believe that was the round, Jake, where Canadian was the one to clutch it up in the end. It was a 1v1. And you back him in those scenarios. So who knows just how close this round may be. Rampy, he's at the bottom of Big Tower. Has a nitro cell already ripped as to not give away the sound cue, but he is spotted by the eyes of Levy with that drone. He still will persist for a little bit. Will Rampy commit to this play? It's a little bit risky, but he is at least burning some of this information.
And the last time we saw this site in particular, Rampy ended up getting picked very early on. Alamau, I think it was from Big Window, got a nice angle on him over in dorms. And so at least he's able to have a bit of an impact this round, run around, you know, throw a nitro cell or two. Well, not two, but throw one somewhere at some point. Try and get involved. And that's exactly what's happening for Rampy. It's, you know, and it's really good to see that. 2-2 right now. Very much struggled on the earlier 2 maps, but is being involved here. Rotates down below from Freezer, will make his way over towards backstairs and probably come up over into Big Tower as Team 1 do start to make their push.
Banshee spotted out there in the upside down rappel, and there is quite a bit of utility that will need to be cleared. Evil Eyes as well. Canadian placing out his last inside of pit to provide some support alongside Thinking Nate. Alamau, he's below. He has control of Kitchen, but he's being lit up. The players inside of Kids on the side of the defense, not giving out without a fight, but Faults. That's huge. He gets the pick from meeting SSG with the opener.
Minute 10 of the round. SSG with the second round in a row where they get the opening pick. Claymore down for KDS as he looks to take control of White Stairs. Levy with an interesting position over to that Kid's window. Just trying to clear some of this utility. This nade. Maybe just trying to clear Bosco in general, who holds that position. Gas Babe goes out. 50 seconds left. Rampy still roaming below. Has not been cleared. Could eventually push up those freezer stairs and make a play over towards KDS. Remember that Claymore is down. Oh, but he's been spotted. He's been flushed out. Bosco gets another one. 30 seconds left. The round is just falling away from Team 1. And maybe the map could be as well in their SI lives if they're not careful. Canadian Faults lighting up the kill feed. There's only one left. No more. Lagonis is done. SSG go to 4-1 up here on Oregon.
Space Station locking down every key position that Team 1 have established. As they question what the Brazilians are doing in this matchup. They went for the top white window control, or top white and double window control rather, but just completely shut down there. Those smoke babes, absolutely perfect from SSG, looking red hot at the moment. If they get the 5-1 lead here, you have to back them to take this series.
Yeah.
But you just never know. You just never know. And Team 1, we've seen it in this series. They are capable of some big plays, and they'll be looking to get this last attack of the regulation half.
And this is where you start to question the proficiency of Team 1 on Oregon. Jess was mentioning it over, of course, in the pre-match discussion for this particular map and how much they love Oregon and they love to go here and they love to play here, maybe even despite some of their results. At least on their attacks, I honestly thought we'd get a little bit more from them. Typically, if you're really a big fan of a map like Oregon, you've got to be pretty decent on the offense, knowing that it's pretty defender-sided. But they have not been able to really fire much of a shot outside of the opening round, which honestly, that opening round, the way they executed, especially on this basement site, which we are finally returning to, was flawless. It was amazing. It was a great round, and I thought maybe that would be the precedent that was set from Team 1 for the remainder of this this half at least. And well, I couldn't be more wrong. SSG have just been able to fight back on these other sites, win 4 in a row, and now we finally go back downstairs. In fact, actually, I did make a mistake. We have been here at least one extra time. That was won by SSG. So this is the third time we're seeing the site. It's 1-1. The only site that Team 1 has actually won. A lot of ones in that little wordplay.
How many ones can one fit in a sentence about ones if one tried?
More than one.
Don't know. Definitely more than one. As Team 1 will drone above. Establish control, but it's Alamau again, aggressive on the buck, establishing horizontal rotations, and this player on the backstairs needs to be careful. I don't quite know who that is for SSG, but alongside Levy, they could do a little bit of damage. I think it may have been Fultz, who's now fallen back down, holding a more traditional position over towards the blue tarps. In fact, everyone from SSG holding what you would expect, a player in freezer, a player in bunker. And this is the checklist that Team 1 will need to complete. That does start with the hatches being open. Rampy may well have juggled that hatch. I don't think I heard it pop open inside of meeting. Either way, though, that's something that the attack will need to deal with. That one was definitely successful.
Yeah, he got it.
That one was definitely successful there from Rampy inside meeting.
Yeah, you could hear that one. Rampy just playing much more proficient here on Oregon. Is always a good sign. Levy just trying to get rid of that electric claw. And now we'll move over to meeting to deal with this hatch. And Fultz is going to reposition this ADS now, and honestly, this elbow position probably not too required. So he's taking some of the ADSs away from elbow, and we'll position them more over to the site.
Now Team 1 will set up 4 blue control shields still on the tarp's position. Will need to be cleared. There's at least one ADS device covering that, so it will need to be burnt, likely by Alamau, who can use a flashbang, but that grenade will be sent out elsewhere. That's the Vulcan shield inside of blue bunker taken down, and Bosco is forced back. Still one reinforcement in the pool, but they elect not to use it just yet. Bosco takes a little bit of damage and only has 1 gas canister left, and I assume he'll now fall back and reinforce that position. Team 1, 35 seconds to go. They still need to take down Fultz and then make their way in towards site before they execute.
Yeah, Team 1 really need to get control of Pillar here if they're going to be able to push in from blue bunker, and there's not that much time either. Looking like they're going to just drop down meeting. Fultz can't win him out. He does get 1. 2 traded overall, so it's a 3 versus 3. Bosco with the shotgun again, going pretty big. The Canadian's on the floor, so it's all up to Bosco. He can't get it done. Team 1 will close out the half. Finally getting 1 back. The way they started the half, guys, is how they end the half, with a win down in basement.
And I thought I heard a Claymore pop there, and it was in fact confirmed at the end of that round, Canadian being taken down as he tries to make the rotation. But in all honesty, by the time he would have committed to that rotation, I assume to the meeting hatch, the round was basically over. Team 1 establishing some good dominance in that round in particular, clearing out positions late, and a couple of nutty shots, enough to close it out for the Brazilians. 2-4 the scoreline as we enter the second half of regulation. And I know we've probably said it 1,000 times, but this is really turning into a barn burner.
Yeah, and now I will be very shocked if we don't see this go to OT at the very least. If anything, I wouldn't be surprised if Team 1 could just hold out defensively here. If they are as proficient on this map as they claim to be, they should be more than capable of doing so. For SSG, a 5-1 half was theirs for the taking. I would have felt very confident in their ability to then close out from there. At 4-2, it's more now closer to job done territory, guys. You know, on the defense on Oregon, it's sort of like, okay, 4-2, they did their job. That's what was kind of expected from them. Nothing more, nothing less. Now we have to see what their attack's going to be like, because if they've got a, you know, insufficient attack, then Team 1 will happily just win out here on their defense.
5 seconds to
Space Station have been struggling with their attacks at the start of this year. Again, keep in mind that through stage 1 of NAL, Luke, their analyst, had to step in because Canadian had retired, and that threw a bit of a spanner in the works, and they were finding life a little bit tricky. That form didn't quite correct itself, even with Canadian jumping back on board. So far in the Six Invitational, their attacking win rate has been 33%. A scary number for the North American fans, but by no means does this rule them out. Numbers are one thing, but actually executing a game plan is another. Neska needs to be careful here inside of security. No, he has some support on Freezer, but it's Fultz to get the first pick. Levy taken down.
Yeah, that's a big player off the board, Levy. Just mechanically more than the operator, but Good play to take out for Falsk. Nice pick early on. SSG get what they very much desired. A man advantage moving on here for their attack. And it's just all about the mindset now and how they're going to be able to attack this basement site. They've had it, obviously, just previously by Team 1 twice in that first half. They were able to attack it. So SSG have seen the blueprint for what it takes. And if there's multiple angles opened up, but whether you go for backstairs in the meeting hatch drop and blue bunker to just try and have 3 different angles of attack. Don't just all funnel in through freezer and laundry. It won't work.
Nope. Canadian goes to pop the hatch and it's already open, so he doesn't need to use any X-Kairos on that position. Meanwhile, other utilities to be cleared. Bosco will use 1 frag grenade to clear the Banshee on the tower stairs and may now make his way over towards blue bunker with another grenade in hand to clear any more deployable shields still scattered around. Drones fly out. Still 10 available for Space Station. A healthy position that they find themselves in, and that allows them to gain a lot of information and make sure that their bases are covered. 4 members alive for Team 1. It only takes 1 or 2 of these to come to life, to bring it back. As X-Kairos shot off the wall, it's an angle that has been denied by Team 1. KDS inside pillar needs to go big. Canadian disrupts. He's going to try and find the pick, but the swing from Lagonis. No! He pulls out a C4. Either way, though, he still finds the kill. Diffuser is dropped. KDS was cleared, and now Lagonis tries to make it back to site, but he will also be shut down. Neskin and Alamau in the 2v4.
Bomb has been located.
Can they hold on? There's not that much time. Neskin over towards elbow, starts to push out, should get the headshot and does. Boss goes off the board now. He's gone. 20 seconds left and suddenly just becomes a little bit more manageable now for Team 1. Neskin, Alamau, thinking Nate, of course, has to stick this diffuser. There's not much time. Bolts is watching. He's got him pinched. Surely cannot get out of elbow. Oh, Alamau with the swing though. Thinking Nate just got it down in time. Alamau and Neskin go huge. The shotgun from both of them. And SSG just get torn to shreds. They almost had a 5-2 lead. No more though. Team 1 with a big save down in basement.
Absolutely ridiculous from Team 1. How do they bring that round back? The crossfires were covered by Space Station, but they prevail in the end. The hatch drop from Canadian. So incredibly brave. It was a chaotic part of that round. 40 seconds to go. So many frags going left and right. But in the dying seconds, Neskin and Alamau. What a ridiculous clutch that was. Alamau, you are an absolute machine.
Yeah, I mean, not a surprise. Alamau has been so instrumental in this series, in this best of 3. Pretty much across all 3 maps, guys, and has been a standout for Team 1. 19 and 19 now overall, a 76% cost. That's tied second out of all of the players in this server. It's including both teams. But an opportunity just goes begging for SSG. I'll say they should have won that round. They really should have from the position that they were in. But Team 1, to their credit, played that perfectly. Neskin and Alamau played off each other, and it's 3-4 as we move into the 8th round. How much is that going to come back to bite SSG?
Bosco will bring the Capital into the lineup here for Space Station Gaming. That could be a very powerful operator if they want to go for that double window jump in. Keep in mind that there is no Wamai available. Was banned out by SSG, so they're playing into their ban here. And once those asphyxiating bolts and smoke bolts as well fly out, that causes a lot of chaos and a lot of disruption for the defense to deal with. So we'll keep an eye on Bosco in this round, see exactly what he is capable of. In the meanwhile though, again, vertical lines of sight and rotations created down below. That's Faults using 2 of his breaching charges as they try and establish control inside of kitchen.
And this is where the nerves just get tested as well. Nerves of steel, who's going to be able to stand up in these big moments. Tournament life on the line for both teams. One of these 2 teams will be going home inside of the next half an hour or so. how quickly things can change in the mindset right now. You, of course, just head deep into this match, but minutes later, you're gone. Playing Rampy with another nade. This one onto Neskin, and it's another opening pick for SSG. They've been getting a few of these lately. In fact, the last 5 in a row now. Apparently, Faults actually had 4 of them in a row. Didn't even realize that until I just went and actually looked at the picks, and it's not traded back. So again, SSG will have a one-man advantage.
Bosco laying down cover fire. He actually has the LMG in hand. I didn't quite realize, but that gun has an almost infinite magazine size. And he is positioned on that double window. A very sneakily placed drone on top of the chassis. You can watch that rotation from Kids. He's a player, in fact, in the Kids' bedroom position. Fires, but doesn't quite hit. Watches the pixel and also misses that second attempt. It is Alamau with 2 gas canisters. He is a huge player, an instrumental player for SSG to clear if they want to hit off this attack successfully.
Oh, Levy's been taken down. That's, speaking of huge players, that's a big one too. SSG, advantage. But this time, can they capitalize? Oh, KDS had no idea they were at the bottom of White Stairs. Vaults will get an easy kill. It's only Lagonis and Alamau, and Lagonis is gone. Alamau's good, guys. He's actually pretty good, and he's had an amazing series, but even he's not going to be able to 1v5 SSG. Flawless from Spacestation Gaming.
The prone at the top of White Stairs strat does work out on this occasion, and SSG smiles all around. They'll be happy with how that one played out, finding isolated picks around the objective, and most critically, they were not traded back by Team 1. A fantastic nade kicked things off from Rampy, and unfortunately, the awareness just not quite there from Team 1. A couple of players were shut down, and in fact, it wasn't even the player that was prone at the top of the stairs to get that final pick. The swing was successful in the end. SSG edging closer and closer towards that match point. But if they want to secure it, they'll need to defend kitchen and dining.
Ooh, the fact that they're even going to dining here for Team 1 is, well, not surprising too much. It's either dining or you go over to meeting. But dining is usually the lesser of 2 evils, doesn't have the best defensive win rate, also doesn't get played as often. But typically, if you're choosing it, guys, it means you got something. You got some sort of idea as to how you want to play it, and therefore, then you can't really question it either, can you? So, see how this gets played by Team 1 and what they're going to do to set up for this defense for kitchen dining.
What are they capable of? What are they capable of? Jaeger and oNe being brought to the table here from the defense. Quite a bit of projectile denial on the board, and Lagonis on the Echo can use those yokai drones to gain information and deny plants. Getting the plant down on this objective can be tricky at times, depending on how exactly the defense wants to set up, and it's quite aggressive, in fact, from Team 1. Looking to extend in towards showers, a shield at the 90 corridor as well. Space Station will need to clear this out quite efficiently. Sure, Jaeger did get nerfed, but with oNe on the board as well, it could be tough here for Space Station. Oh, that's smart though. Oh, that's so smart. No! Fox doesn't hit it! Second attempt though.
Fires.
Third attempt, they all got caught.
Oh no.
Every single Ash charge just got caught on that deployable shield. KDS drops the kit as well. Bosco trades it back, but that is a very sloppy start from SSG.
Oh, very sloppy. It's maybe not round over by any means, but it's sloppy, and it's not the ideal start through the drone hole. Neskin does just cop a few bullets to his toes. 4 versus 4 at least, so Canadian off the board, KDS off the board. Lots of time though to attack this site still for SSG. Neskin can continue to hold this position.
Rampy sends the Gemini forward just to scout ahead inside of small tower and peeks the dining door. Lagonis shuts down the first of those Gemini replicators, as Rampy needs to wait for another one to recharge. The con wall was opened up at the top there from Team 1, so I assume that there is presence above. In fact, Levy can hold that kid's bedroom hatch position. Bosco, meanwhile, will pop open a nice little hole in towards showers. They're trying to dislodge any players potentially inside of showers. Alamau, though, playing a little bit deeper in towards the corridor. Rampy with a nice rappel. It's a nice long angle at that. Doesn't find a pick, but can hold the cross.
And it doesn't look like SSG is really going to put any sort of presence over towards Kid Storms. Thinking Nate, the only player that's not over towards Small Tower. He's over at Yellow Bus at the moment outside. So it is very much going to be this horizontal take. And they are just going to try and, as you said, flush out the players of Team 1 from showers and then make that push into dining, looking for the plant. Team 1 positioned, though, to stop this funnel. As Fultz will start to get aggressive. The Banshee gives away the information. Neskin swings, headshot. That's a nice shot from Fultz, apparently. Thinking Nade gets one, but Rampy goes down to Alamau. Advantage Team 1. Bosco on site. That's going to be the Yokai drones as well. Showing itself there inside of showers from Lagonis on the Echo, who's now inside of Kitchen. Alamau and Levy getting the job done, but Bosco's still in the server. He's got two. Couldn't quite get a third as that player runs up wide stairs. That's Levy. Lagonis inside of Kitchen. Oh, gets off the diffuser. Lagonis is waiting for him. And Team 1 edge closer to getting this game tied up.
A tricky position at the end of that round there for Bosco. He's a great player, an experienced player, but still the discipline from Team 1 to close out that round was fantastic. The start for SSG. Disappointing. Those ADS devices catching those Ash charges, one being caught by a teammate as well. A little bit sloppy in the mid-round to late from both teams. Quite a bit of chaos, but Team 1 edging out on top. The Space Station skin at the end there. Just rub the salt in the wounds a little bit, and those wounds exposing just a little bit. Team 1, they are not going down without a fight. They avoid the match point going against them. And now they can try to defend down below.
But it's a similar predicament that we've seen from SSG, where there was that period where they're up 4-2 and they probably should have gone up 5-2 after that. Didn't quite win that round. It goes to 4-3. Then you win and you go, okay, it's 5-3. Another round that really had, they just played that round a little bit cleaner. Suddenly 6-3 instead of 5-4. It's such a different story. Team 1 are just really clawing this back. They're on the defense for Oregon. It's their preferred map. All of this is going against SSG right now. So they, while being up 5-4, Guz, it feels like they're on the ropes right now because Team 1 is starting to throw some big haymakers.
Oh, yeah. Can they deliver that knockout blow, though? That's really the question, and really tough to see that coming through. Who knows? 3 players on site at the moment, and this would suggest that Team 1 playing a little bit aggressively off site. Maybe those roamers will head back towards the objective, but Levy inside of dining, seeing if he can spot any drones. Needs to be careful of faults, though. It's a quick entry in towards Small Tower, suggesting that they do have intel pre-fire as well, further suggesting that SSG are aware that Team 1 do have some presence off-site. But I think those players have eventually filtered back down, and Space Station can get to work on those hatches.
Bosco, by the way, the clear best player in the server. 30-14 over the best of 3 at plus 16 KD, 86% cost. If SSG are going to close out Oregon, it's going to be on the back of his shoulders. Just almost say to Canadian, hop on or give you a ride into the next round. That's what's basically been happening. As Team 1 wait below. KDS just peeking up backstairs, spots the drone, goes for a cheeky wall bang into meeting. Obviously not going to find what he's looking for, though. Still a lot of time in this round as it's basement defense for Team 1.
Yeah, the mid-round 4 basement has been pretty slow for most of these teams. Not a lot of action in terms of the frag department, but these attacks are still definitely doing a lot of work in obtaining map control early and then popping up the critical, or popping open the critical hatches. There's 3, one inside of lobby, one inside of freezer, or security rather, and then another in meeting. Aggression though, here on Big Tower, Canadian. A couple of flashbangs sent out to try and waste some of that utility. Grenade will follow up, and I believe that was a Banshee taken down. One of Levy's that was placed there during the preparation phase. Time continues to tick down. These hatches now have been popped, and this is where we see the coordination from SSG. Is it up to scratch? Can they clear out these positions? Can they trade out efficiently? It was a hectic hatch drop on the last occasion. Will it be the same once again?
I was almost half expecting to see Canadian drop down inside of the gas bay. Just, oh, here we go. It's false. He's going to get thrown down by Canadian. It's kind of close. Levy gets one, but traded back, thinking Nate is able to take out KDS. So that's the pillar position now opened up. Nesking over at elbow as Bosco just waits. Someone's going to pick someone. He spots the shield. 4 versus 4, 35 seconds left. Oh, Alamau, that's Diffuser down. That's Canadian down. Rampy got one, but Lagonis will beat out thinking Nate. Bosco can't win the big battle over towards Blue Bunker. Rampy's on site, but he's in a 1 versus 3 with only 20 seconds left in the round. Team 1 so close to making this 5-5 in the match. They will do just that through Lagonis. Fist bumps all around on the board. It is 5 apiece. Break point. The next round will get match point.
10 rounds now played between these two in map 3, and it is so difficult to call the winner. I'd say it's almost impossible to call the winner at the moment.
Do you call a timeout though?
Incredibly close. Maybe that is the call. One of these teams take a timeout, try and slow down the pace. Who knows? Maybe they're just feeling good at the moment, want to continue this match without interruption. Doesn't seem like a tech timeout has been called, so the action will continue to flow. Or maybe it has. I don't know. But either way, 5-5 the score. And Space Station just need to consolidate themselves. The tactical was in fact called. There it is. You called it, Jake. And this is their opportunity just to refocus and think about their game plan. Canadian heading some of this discussion. It seems to be pretty holistic across the team. Like, and of course, their coach out the back offering his support as well. Now it's time to really put their heads down and think really deeply about how they're going to close this one out.
And if we just sort of summarize Oregon for those who maybe have only just tuned in, firstly, it's 1-1. Loser of this match will go home. Winner will play Empire. So there's a quick little rundown. But it was very much a great start from Team 1 winning the opening round. And then we saw SSG go pretty big. They won 4 rounds on their defense. It was a 4-1 start. And since then, since that 4-1 lead, Team 1 have now been able to win 4 of the last 5 rounds. So that basically summarizes it. Great start from SSG on the defense, as expected, but they haven't been able to translate that on their attacks here on Oregon. Team 1 right now have been able to tie it up 5-5, and the fact that they're on the defense, guys, means they are definitely favored to close this out.
Oh, the pressure. It's mounting. Feels like it's at an all-time high in this matchup. And again, the stakes so huge, particularly for Space Station Gaming. They are the current world champions. They lifted the hammer in Montreal at the last Six Invitational. Since then, though, been a downward trend, unfortunately, for this team, particularly at the start of this year. Canadian retired, but he's back, and he wants to lift that hammer once again. He doesn't want to go down this early into the lower bracket run. This could well be his final game of Siege ever in the competitive scene if he does lose out to this one. And he has been around for so long. He won the very first Six Invitational for Continuum. A very esteemed history.
10 seconds left.
That won't be weighing on their minds too much at the moment, though. Just 1 round at a time, and SSG looking to bounce back. Team 1 have won the previous 2 rounds on their defense.
And of course, SSG off the back of their tactical timeout, the fact that they're attacking, the fact that they had a 4-1 lead means it's all on them now to start to fight back. If I used the boxing analogy before, I'll sort of go back into that, but they've really just been hit by a big one, guys. They are on the ropes. One more punch may knock them out, and boy, it will knock them out of SI. And Levy knocks out the big heavy hitter from SSG. Bosco is down and out for the count. SSG not only down a player, but they're down their best performing player in this series. This will be tough to see them winning this round.
No impact at all. And he is a critical player late round. Capital offers so much utility that can now no longer be expended. And on top of that, it was a spawn peak, and I'm sure Bosco will be having a hard time making sense of that one. He'll be jumping on the drones now and making sure that these players down below are covered alongside those Nomad air jabs. Neskin, he's in security. SSG might be able to focus their efforts on clearing out this player, try and even out the odds in this round. But most of their focus at the moment currently over towards the bedroom side. I assume Canadian will be looking to try and open up the game's wall with those ex-Kairos. But still, SSG just take their time and make sure that they drone out everything as perfectly as possible.
And after we saw SSG in the midsection of this match get 5 opening picks in a row, since then now it's 3 to Team One, and they're capitalizing big time, Guz. With these advantages, especially on the defense, it makes it so difficult for these attackers, especially late round in these executions. In the final 20 seconds, when the trades start to go out, you're down a player. There's no one to then trade for the other guy because you've got less numbers. It's as simple as that. It's all about the maths. Canadian's going to be able to open up this game's wall. 1 minute on the clock. But it's still just going to take a monumental effort. Maybe this is the time for Canadian to make one final big play to get SSG match point.
Faults takes damage down below at the bottom of White Stairs. Will have to retreat. Neskin runs into an air jab, but he is not punished. Again, Faults falling off that location. Drones head out in towards games as Space Station consider this execute. Gemini heads out as well, quite deep. And a Yokai was spotted there by a Canadian. He'll spray through the couch, but I don't think it was taken down unless Lagonis had a second. 20 seconds left. What can SSG do? Can Team One hold on?
Oh, the timing here between Neskin and Faults. Neskin, shotgun. He's close. He's too good. Faults was low on health. Canadians on site now, sticking the diffuser. Lagonis has been eliminated. Rampy watching and covering the cross. Canadian gets that plant down, but Alamau, Levy, they find 2 big picks on the Canadian and thinking nade. Rampy runs for his life, but he's on a 1 versus 4. Levy down though, and he does have a very good sightline onto this diffuser, but Alamau, the position to the right-hand side, he doesn't give away his spot. Now he does. Rampy knows, but Levy onto that diffuser.
Oh,
Stop.
no.
Rampy, is this one for the highlight reel? He's got 3 for the round. Team One just don't know what to do right now. Neskin, you've got to cover KDS. You cannot allow him to go down. Take the bullets if you have to, but he fires them back. Team One, match point.
On the edge of one of the most remarkable clutches that we have ever seen in this game. Such an incredibly powerful angle being held there in the post plant, but Team One, they fight back. They counter diffuse the kit. Absolutely wild round there. A valiant effort from Rampy. Cannot understate just how incredible that effort was. But Team One were able to play into that man advantage, and they closed it out in the dying seconds. That was so close. So close. Team One now with match point.
Oh. And now you've got to close it out though. Now you've got that match point. You've been fighting tooth and nail. Team One just looking unstoppable right now on their defense here on Oregon. SSG, as you mentioned, a very valiant effort from Rampy, but just not enough to be able to secure a match point. It goes the other way. So now SSG need to send this to overtime. And when we all started the very beginning of this match on Oregon, guys, I felt like overtime would be fitting, and we're so close to it. Is there one final play from the likes of Canadian to maybe keep the playoff hopes alive for SSG? Or is Team One the future that has arrived?
Could this be the end of an era for Space Station Gaming, the current world champions? If Team One win this round, this could be the last time that we see Canadian play competitive Siege. He has been around since the dawn of competitive Siege. Multiple Six Invitational winner, and the pressure now absolutely enormous. The biggest it has been for this team so far in this tournament. The stakes literally could not be any higher. If they lose this round, they're going home to France. It's as simple as that. Can they get themselves back into this round? Flashbangs head out. Faults, preps a grenade, peppers it in towards the side and takes that shield down. So a good clearance there from SSG to kick off this round.
The good news, at least for the Space Station Gaming fans, is if they're going to win the site, it's got to be this one, right? It's got to be kitchen dining. Statistically, the lowest win rate for the defense at Six Invitational, which it hasn't been played that often, but considering it doesn't get played that often, the teams that do play it sense they've got a decent strat for it, and yet it still doesn't come up usually. The main thing is that they just cannot lose Bosco early, not only on the Maverick, but also the player. They're going to get to work on opening up these walls, especially getting the sightlines into showers. But most importantly, down the stretch, they just got to hit and win these ones, because Alamau, the likes of him, Levy, KDS, they've just been a bit better at the moment.
Minute 20 left on the board. Still 10 members alive in this server. But this showers corridor will be tricky to hold for Team 1. Holds. Smacks open the wall into showers. He has one more grenade to work with. He decides not to throw it just yet. Rampy might well go to the drone hole and try and find a pick. No, he goes to the window. He connects. He does connect. Alamau, though, he gets aggressive. Avoids that second nade. He found a pick in the meantime onto Faults. Leaves it in the 4 versus 4. 45 seconds left. You can just hear a pin drop at the moment. Can SSG get this plant down? Can they convert the round and stay alive?
Another nade goes out. Alamau, Neskin. Bosco pushes into showers. He's taken down by Levy. Rampy needs to go big here, just like the previous round. Neskin's taken down, thinking nade. There goes Canadian. He's off the board. Rampy waits for Alamau to push out, and he does, and he gets the pick, thinking they get shut down by Lagonas. Rampy, you get one more opportunity to clutch up big for Space Station Gaming. He will have to stick the plant. He fakes it. He gets off it. Now he's got to look for kills. He really won't have time. Unfortunately, time is of the essence here. You've got to get moving, and he cannot. The future has arrived. Team 1 win an absolute banging matchup.